Whoa. 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 Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you literally just say that Kirk is better than James? Because I don't think we can be friends anymore. Like, hard. Hard stop. James Hetfield is by far the better guitar player. Not to get political or anything, but straight up. Straight up. You hear that all right? Look, no Crash Bandicoot memes will make this better. Mm, I mean, he does play solos. He definitely plays solos. They're all just pentatonic scales, though. Literally every Kurt Hammett solo is E minor pentatonic. Or if he gets fancy, he'll shift down one. It ain't nothing to it. 1v1 boxing match. Bro, you're young and like your back doesn't hurt, I'm assuming. How about 1v1 guitar shred? Mm. And that's how you trigger woman. It's true, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not like some really, really diehard Kurt Hammett haters, but James Hetfield is Metallica. Like, and to say anything different is just you just don't know any better, and it's okay. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Is this Trigger Wellman morning? Is that how we're doing it? Let's see. So. Let's see. There's a 7, so 1, 3, 5, 7. Bruh. Lars is the best thing about Metallica, no cap. Okay, that is the other way to trigger me. Don't get me wrong, like the two people that I would say are most Metallica is Lars and James, but James is that band. Dude is in rehab, the whole band just stops. They have to stop because he writes all the music and he plays all the rhythm guitar and he's the lead singer and he writes all the music. So James is the GOAT. Let's see. So right now, so you guys know what I'm looking at. I'm actually looking at a Lydian arpeggio. Lydian arpeggio. What the heck does that mean, Wellman? Wellman, tell me what that means. What is a Lydian arpeggio? I'm about to show you what a Lydian arpeggio is. I just got to get past all the sponsored links. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at. Let's scroll this up. This arpeggio right here. I'm sacrificing humanity. Yeah, I made a lo-fi song. Okay, dude, I gotta tell us. All right, so here's Lydian. Lydian is a specific type of scale. It's like a major scale. So I'm gonna play in C. If you look at the screen, this diagram right here, this is what I'm looking at. But it's a major scale. That's major, right? But Lydian has a raised fourth, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's raised. So instead of an F natural, you have an F sharp. So this Lydian arpeggio is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, sharp 11. A is the 13, and then root again. So Ivan, what up? Let's see. Yeah. How we doing? I'm doing all right. But I'm thinking about this arpeggio a lot. So, and I don't know if you guys can actually hear me. Can you hear the guitar all right? Can you hear the guitar all right? So, this dude is playing. I'll play the lick. I'll let him play the lick for you, so you can see. You can see the type of player I aspire to be. This dude is just a monster.
And that is exactly what we're doing with the practical example for today. Let's check it out in detail right now.
Cool little dissonant. So it's, let's see, it's got the tab here and everything. Yeah. So that's like a little inch Lydian nonsense. I really like this guy Bernd. He's all about playing shred. So like Angel, I know you're really into rhythm guitar right now, but when you want to start thinking about playing lead, I definitely recommend his channel. He's really good. Mm. Yeah, I gotta get that F sharp. Yeah. Yeah, man. 240. Yeah, your bench goal is, unless you got weights at home, brother. Like. I gotta get on my first finger there. There we go. That's all right. That's all right. Definitely could be cleaner, but. So that F sharp is a sharp 11. So let's see, how would I play a C? So here's like a C major 7. There's my third. There's my fifth. I could do that. Starting to focus on scales and stuff like that to make myself a better player. Dude, then this one, I would definitely sub to his channel. Sub to his channel all day long. He's one of the few guys that actually have the bell turned on because I want to watch his video every time it comes out. And to the point where I'm like actually overwhelmed with all the stuff that I could be practicing, which hasn't happened since I was in college. So I'm like really excited about that. Because he just gives me a ton of stuff to practice. My problem is I don't really hear stuff modally, because this is a Lydian scale. Like it should, the tonic is C. It should still be C major, but because of this F sharp, I always want to hear C down to B. That's what I want to hear. So it sounds to me more like a B Phrygian almost. Actually, I hear it in E minor is what I heard it in. Yeah, definitely. Like he's got all kinds of lessons on sweeping and alternate picking, and a lot of the scales you guys have been seeing me play over the last 2 weeks have been from his channel. And he's got some rad tattoos too, which is really cool. Like that cool dissonance. learning theory and all that. Yeah. Yeah, and it takes time. It takes time. What I would start doing, to be honest, is um, like, well, you like Kirk Hammett, pick a couple of his solos to learn. I would say that the solo for Enter Sandman is pretty reasonable. I learned it in like a day, but you know, I would say that if you work at it, you could figure it out in like a week or two. But start by transcribing things and learn theory at the same time. And when I say transcribe, I really mean, you know, just go on Ultimate Guitar and figure out how to do it. And the more you start learning theory, then you start to apply that theory to the things that you're playing. And you don't want to do it in the opposite order. Like, you don't want to learn theory and then try to learn to play, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense from a language standpoint, right? It doesn't make sense to for me to teach you how to conjugate verbs before you know how to like do some basic conversational things. You know, like my daughter's 8 months old. I'm not going to teach her about verb conjugation until she can, like, you know, say mama and dada, right? So you got to learn a little bit about soloing from people who are already soloing. And then when you start picking up the music theory, you're going to revisit these things and go, oh, that's what he's doing. That's all he's doing. And honestly, this guy's channel, Learning Theory, you could learn it from Barenth. I would love to start just talking about music theory. Like, you're learning music theory from me, but the issue with music theory is it's very linear. You kind of have to learn it. You kind of have to learn it in order. Otherwise, it's just like kind of a mess of words. You know, it's like math. If you don't know algebra, you're not going to do calculus. So that's the struggle. Like, where you would start is start learning your scales. And what I do, like if I'm doing, let me go full screen here again. Let me get this out of the way because it's not focused on me. So say I want to play, like, you're playing metal, so it's really good to start with like C major, because then you're also learning C minor or A minor. So for example, if I wanted to play a C major scale, let me see here. Let me get some more better angles here. Okay, so I'm learning C major. It's really weird to watch my hand in mirror image because I'm looking at the VOD and not at my hand. So there's a C major 3-note per string scale, but when you think of it in, guitarists like to think in shapes, which is good, and so a lot of guitar players think of this, even though it's a C major scale, they want to think of it as a G mixolydian, because then you're using the full range of the instrument. So if you start at G, what's up, Gabe? Nope. So I'm still playing a C major scale, C to C, but now I'm adding that low G, so I'm starting on the 5th. So C major has all natural notes. It's just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? So I'm using all the white keys on the piano. So if I use the full range of the instrument, I'm playing in the 3rd position. Well, I'm going to start on this G. So now I have G, A, B, C. There's my root. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Let's see, and if I was going to play a C arpeggio here, what would I do? I'd actually play it up here. Okay, so that's C. But then you have to start thinking about it in, like I said, you want to think about it to extend the range of the instrument. You want to use the full range of the instrument. So you have to think, okay, so I started on G. What would the note lower than that be? Well, it would be F. Okay, so I'm going to play a C major scale. Adam's Apple is here somewhere. I know he wants me to listen to his song, but I really want to play some guitar first, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to play the same group of notes, but now I'm going to start on F. And what that does is this turns this into it's still C major. It's all the notes of C major, but because I'm starting on F, it's going to sound like F Lydian. Okay, so I've got F, G, A, B, C. Okay, well now we can start to hear the C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. D, E, F, G, A, B. On the 7th fret, there's C again. Okay, so now I've got C in 3rd position starting on G. Now I've got C in 1st position starting on F. Now I can start in open position 2 and start on that E, because E is still in the scale. So E, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? So now I'm basically from, there's my high C, there's my low C, and I can start all the way from that open E to really have a mastery of this first level of scale. So now if I start moving forward, so I moved my lowest note lower. Now if I move my lowest note higher, so now instead of, I'm going to start here at A. A is going to be my starting pitch. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, now that's actually a minor scale. It's an A minor scale because I'm starting on A. A minor and C major have the same note selection, but you're just starting on a different pitch. So instead of playing C to C, now I'm playing A to A. Right, so okay, so now I'm unlocking these types of things on the fretboard. And for guitarists, the hardest thing for guitarists is to actually make sure that you're naming the notes as you're playing them, because otherwise it just doesn't. You're not learning anything. You're just learning patterns, which is kind of a hacky shortcut. But you have to remember. So like, let's pull out a notepad here. Oops. Notepad. Okay, so C major, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, oops, B, C. Now, let me see over here. I gotta go over here. Rip. So, on the guitar, let's see, right here, this is my first position, or I should say first position. Oops, first position. This is my open position. Okay. To play C on the lowest, as the lowest note, using the full range, this is actually the 8th position. So that's, woo, 8th position. This is 10th position. G is 3rd position. A is 5th position. B is 7th position. Okay. And so these are essentially using the lowest note on the guitar when you start. So if I start in 8th position, here's my 8th position. I like chowed that scale bad, but so there's 7th position. Now to play the same scale, I'm still playing the same notes, and it's still just these notes, just those notes. Just playing them in different places on the fretboard. D is on the 10th fret, so now I have to play D, starting on D. So I'm just gonna go in order that you see on the screen, but starting on D. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So there's my octave. What scale am I playing here? What is it? Oh, it's Dorian. So it's a Dorian shape. Okay. Then I go to E. So I can play E at the 12th fret. This would be E Phrygian, the shape, but I'm still playing C major. Or I can play down here. Because remember the 12th fret is the same as the open string, so I'm going to just play it open for simplicity's sake. So, okay. Okay, now I'm going to play F. So I'm still playing C major. I'm still playing only those notes that are highlighted on the screen. Now, this is basically the same, but now I'm using my pinky to reach to that A instead of playing that A open. Okay, so you're just using this to kind of unlock where these notes are. Now here I'm back at G. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay? And like I can already tell you right now, because I'm playing so slow, I'm finding little like blips in my memory, which is, it's good that I'm finding them, but it's bad that I have them. So I have to think about, okay, well, I'm playing G Mixolydian in the key. I'm playing C major, but in the shape of G Mixolydian. That played the wrong note, not F sharp, F natural. Oh, this is Locrian. Oh man, so as I'm going through this, I'm literally thinking, how can I, what are these notes that I'm playing? What are these notes that I'm playing? And part of that is I have the fretboard memorized. And the only way to memorize the fretboard is to be thinking like this. So those of you who were in guitar class, all those quote unquote fretboard journals that we did were to try and get you to start memorizing the fretboard. What I realize now is it doesn't really give you context for memorization if you're not actually playing them. So it is a little more of an advanced thought process to start thinking about what notes you're playing on the fretboard. So I'm playing scales because what I did when I first started, was I started memorizing shapes. So these kind of modal patterns that I'm talking about are literally they're patterns that I memorized to start. But now I've got them memorized to a point where I'm thinking about my note choice, and because I know I'm playing with no sharps and no flats, that means that it's just the letter names. That's all I have to think about. But I'm still using these shapes as kind of like a background to I know, okay, here's C major, you know? Well, there's my C again. So there's something called the octave triangle on guitar. And the octave triangle looks something like this. It's a little bit flat. So whatever note I'm playing here is the same note here. So I'm on the 8th fret on the 6th string, that's a C. On the 10th fret of the 4th string, that's a C. And then I gotta put my mute back on because it's getting nasty. So here's C. Okay, so if you know that, you can see. Those are all C. Every single one of those notes is C. So if I'm playing C major, I know that I'm gonna, and then this is also C. But that's again, that's more from practice than anything. So say I'm looking for G. Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to go through and I want to memorize the lowest string. The lowest string. Okay? So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. That's my lowest string. So I can come through and play. So I do have to move this a little bit to articulate. So E is open, so 2 above and then 2 strings down. That's E again, and then that the same as the 6th string on the 1st string. There's my octave triangle. So that's for E. E, E, E. Now F, there's F, F, oops. Now G, A, B, C, D, E again. Okay, so we went through and we found 3 octaves of each note, starting on the 6th string. Well, then you do the same thing with, there's a slightly different shape that you use starting from the 5th string. So from the 5th string we have A, open, A, A. So then if I want to go B, C, so here's another C that we didn't talk about because we started here. Here's another C. Or we can go those are all C's. And they're just ways for you to start memorizing where notes are. But using these scale shapes is good to start with, and then you just try and name the notes as you're going through. So again, we're starting in C major, C, and let me go back to there. If I'm starting on C, I'm starting right here in the 8th position. Okay, I'm playing C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then I'm doing it again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then the last 3 notes that I'm playing are D, E, F. C, D, E, F. So I have 3 notes at the end, just because that's how it works out. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, not B flat, B, C. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay? And then what you can do is once you have these forms kind of memorized, these shapes memorized, and you're able to name the notes, well then you just, if you want to play in C major, but you want to be in this first position down here, right? One more time. I mean, but I don't want it to sound like F Lydian, I want it to sound like C. So I'm going to start, there's my C. So I'm still playing in this position. And then I want to think about like, we're going to start thinking about arpeggios after that. So in my right hand, that, kind of a bad angle. Let me see. So it's just this. So it's like a downward pick angle and then an upward pick angle. So those are all that you're doing. That's a heck of a lot of information, and it's a heck of a lot of information to try and simplify, because the way I talk about it, probably I expect that I probably make it sound simple. It's not simple, because once you learn it, you can't unlearn it, and so it's hard for me to, this is why in teaching, assessment isn't always about grading. It's like, okay, what did you guys pick up about what I said, and what didn't you? Because most of the time, a lot of the things I say go unnoticed because I know what I know, but it's hard for me to be in your head. So I like starting with C major because you don't have to think about sharps or flats. So. And then you start playing with different patterns. So, yeah, and that's the reality of music theory. You gotta start with note memorization. Start with note memorization, then you go on into then you start thinking about key memorization. So we've been only talking about C. So again, if I'm up here at the 8th fret, playing this C major scale, using the Ionian modal pattern. Well, that's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Well, if I want to play, let's say I want to switch around and play in G. There's my G. Remember, here's our octave triangle. Okay, but in this scale pattern, I'm not going to play G there. I'm actually going to play G here. Okay, so these are the same two notes. 3rd fret first string is the same as 8th fret second string. So this is actually the same pattern. I'm just playing it on the 3rd fret now. So in the key of G, there's an F sharp. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. You know, with the key of C, we were playing that. So it's key of C. Key of C, key of G. Key of C. Key of G. Okay. Clear as mud, I'm sure. But that's the same shape. It's the same shape. So if you know the shape, you can just, all right. That's C. Now here's G. Okay, here's A. You don't necessarily have to know the notes to know the shapes. Here's B. You know? Okay. But then when you start thinking about like, well, if I'm playing the chord progression C, D, F, G7, what chords am I going to play? That becomes more complicated because suddenly you have, you know, C, okay, well I can play C major. And then I have D. Well, D major has an F sharp in it. So now I'm having to play, if I want to stay in this kind of key, if I play that F natural, it doesn't sound good. So I have to play that F sharp because my octave triangle, so I have to have that F sharp. It doesn't mean that I have to play this F sharp, but any F has to be sharp while I'm playing this. Unless I'm like walking up, that's where you get things like blue notes. So say, you know, there's that F sharp. And so basically your note choice, your melodic note choice, if without a harmony, can really inform the harmony. And that's, I mean, that's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but you can you can almost hear, based on if I'm choosing F sharp, F sharp, or F natural, if I'm thinking D or C or G7, because G7 also has that F natural. Now if I was playing like G major 7, then I would still need yeah. Okay. All right, Adam, I can see you're chomping at the bit. You want me to look at your song, which I get. And I could talk about this all day long, and I might still, but I will look at your song. So, cuz you know, teaching and all that. Teaching and all that. Let's see. Yeah. There's my purple scrunchie. Purple scrunch. Okay. Alright, let's say what up. What up? You better believe it. Adam stepping up his game. Let's see, who's texting me? Mr. Stewart just sent me a text. And he's saying, I think I'm going to have to play this Final Fantasy VII remake. Are we hyped for Final Fantasy VII remake? Or is that just like... Is that just me? Is that just me? Okay. Ooh, fancy. Ooh, fancy. All right, let's see. Ooh. That's interesting. Okay. That's interesting. I'm not sure if you meant to do that or if that... Okay. Let me hear all the individual parts. First of all, I love the chord progression. Okay. Okay, that is a cool texture. That is a cool texture. Okay, Omar, you will be next. So, Adam, I'm going to type with you in chat so we're live. Woo, caps lock. Right. So for the waves. Okay. So there's a couple things we can do here that I think will Okay, and then I'm assuming that you want that to be like, yeah, later to the percussion. Okay, okay. So let's listen again. I like this. I really like that chord progression, and I like the humming. I really like that too. Yeah, I can for sure hear it change. I do want to clean it up so that they're not ringing over each other. So I want to see if we can mess with that. Let's see. Let's mute this for right now. So at the beginning, actually, your percussion sounds are having this like grum 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 cha grum 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 cha. Is that what you wanted? Because they're lining up. That's interesting. Okay. So and then that, like, it doesn't line up right away, but then it does. I hear I was going for the delay because the voice stops. Okay. Okay. So let's look at this. Yeah, we can crank the reverb a little bit more. And what I would do is, let's go to the piano roll. We're going to kind of switch between these two voices. I'm going to just kind of move this around a little bit. Because I hear what you're going for. I think I hear what you're going for. So I want to take this, and I'm going to kind of shorten everything slightly. Oops. And then move it out. Okay, the last chord is very low, so I had to make it separate. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so let me hear this. Let me hear just this. Now, up here, this also gets off the beat. Did you mean for this to get off the beat? Because it is throwing me off a little bit. Because I still want to hear this. Yeah, I still want to hear this. So you tell me. Okay, that I don't like as much. So if I just bring this slightly off the beat, what's my grid? What's my grid here? I'm gonna go down to the 16th note. Is that what I want? No, let's do the 32nd note. Okay, because I still want that. Okay, I'm gonna change some stuff. Feel free to revert it if you want, but I'm just gonna. And then I'm just gonna grab stuff, kind of just slide it around a little bit, because I'm hearing this like. No, I want that vibrating delay. The idea I love. I just want to try and clean it up a little bit. No, this needs to be further out. So this feels to me actually like in a weird time signature. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Two, three, four, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 4, So I'm thinking in terms of like tempo right now. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. 3. Okay. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, 4, and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. Oh, I forgot. This has got to. Okay. 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 And 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and 2, 3, 4. Okay. I like that. Okay. Okay. Now let me come over into this. We're just going to extend this. Okay. Okay. What up, Joseph? Did you end up getting a new rabbit yesterday? 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 2. Okay, I want to turn this up just a little bit. Okay, the attack is way down. Okay, interesting. Cool, man. Cool, yeah. Nice. Nice. Down the back, down the tummy. Where's that brown stripe? So I'm gonna actually let's hear it with the drums because now I'm. Okay, so now I have essentially screwed up his little groove that he had here. So let's talk about this. Awesome, dude. Cool. Did you give it a name yet? Let's see. I actually want to take this. Ooh, woo, yeah. I think I jacked this. I really do. I think I jacked it up. Okay. So, all right. Make some comments off screen here. All right. Cool. So, Omar, my dude. Let's see. I wish I could like save as suggestions. So that way it wouldn't change if it like totally screwed you up. Okay. All right. Lo-fi question mark? Ooh, this 3.5 minutes. What is this? Ooh. Ooh. What is this, Omar? What did you do? What did you? I am okay. All right, I'm not even sure what some of this is, to be honest. So I think you might be about to teach me something, man. Martinez, what's up, dude? We're looking at some tracks right now. I definitely want to check yours out again. Mm. Mm. Okay, so that was very cool. I have a couple questions. Like, this is this is clearly something that you found. This really cool heart part. So this is at one. Okay, this is how we're gonna fix this. It's actually, so you'll notice that this is at 192 beats per minute. Or it says kilobeats per minute. But right now our tempo is set to 73. So what ends up happening is it's actually your drum part isn't lining up with her part. It sometimes is. It's like kind of slipping in and out, which I'm not sure. That could be a cool effect. But but right now it feels a little bit jarring to me when I'm hearing her strong beats land off of your strong beats. So we have to kind of think of that. I love the little sound effects, like this, like the crackling audio sample. This, like, I think this is why people listen to ASMR, because I love this. This is like, this just made me happy. This made me so happy. Okay, so Omar's gonna add something. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's. So right there, now I feel like we're off. I'm feeling it being off because your kick is lined up to your tempo, but if you look, here is her downbeat, or this person's downbeat. I'm assuming it's a her because of the name is Dorothy. So how could we do this? This says... So... So I want to like, I'm gonna solo this. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So this is gonna be weird. I'm sorry, dude. So this is why it's really, really important to have that metronome locked in, because otherwise things aren't gonna line up right. I'm really interested, Omar, in what are these, like, what are these little lines going through your track? Because I haven't seen that before in this. I'm assuming it's like a volume attenuator, but I'm not even sure how to access that within this program. That's really cool. All right, I hope I didn't just ruin this. And part of it too is like the original recording might not actually be in time, which would make this really difficult. But there's so much cool stuff happening in here. So much cool stuff happening. Okay. They are third-party drum beats that downloaded in a kit. Okay, but you're using them as like sampled parts. So like, yeah. Now, so this is the tempo we want, but now everything has to kind of spread out. Okay, so if sorry, dude, this is just gonna be weird. Highlight all of this. Oh. Highlight all of this. We're just gonna drag it out this way so I can get a little bit of a sense of how this is actually gonna come together. Okay. Huh. Okay, you know what? So it actually sped this up too. That is a trip. I'm gonna revert to previous version. 15. Nope, we're gonna go back here. Don't save. So yeah, there's just something in here, Omar, that is not lining up rhythmically, but when I changed the tempo, that didn't fix it. Because like okay, so right there, now it feels off to me. So I almost want to like actually cut a little piece of this out. Top drum beats sometimes doesn't beat. No, that's not it though. That's not it. You'll hear it like. So this feels like this should have been like over here actually. Yeah, so sometimes it's like, it's not lining up the way my ear wants to hear it. So. Yeah, see, so it's just like. And see here also, like the hi-hat, I feel like it needs to shift over. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. There's just something about the beat in the background that it has to shift to line up with the melody, because otherwise it just feels. Yeah, like suddenly everything's got to shift over a little bit. So like. something right here. Okay, so that, like, I had to go in there and really kind of fiddle with some stuff, but now it feels right. It feels right. So let's start this again. Okay, and then here, actually, I want to hear this a little bit sooner. Or actually undo, delete. I'm just going to move this over. Yeah, so there's just some spots in here that are out of time. And if they're out of time, we have to just adjust our kick a little bit. Ooh, okay. This one is not. See how I'm like really really nitty gritty in here. There's because just these little slight rhythmic variations. She's the recording is taking a little bit of liberty with the tempo, which is, I mean, that's what classical musicians do. We don't, we don't take tempo very seriously, especially when we're soloists. So this happens all the time. But when one of the coolest things about doing something like this is we can really dig in and make it sound intentional by just slightly altering these little rhythmic variations and putting them off the beat. So it sounds like the drummer's live too. Then we've still got this really amazing lo-fi sound based on like these textural elements like the rain and the crackling record. I want this right. Woo, paste. Okay, so I'm going to scroll out. There's a lot more work to be done on just these little tiny things, but I think just the couple that I've altered have really done a lot of good here. So see, just these little tiny rhythmic changes that I've made makes the whole thing feel more stable. Now there's it gets a little fishy again, which I'm not super clear on, but Omar, I really like it. I really like how you sampled this this track. It's absolutely beautiful. It really is beautiful, and I think the whole point of lo-fi is, I think, really like it's kind of like a musical take on ASMR in a lot of senses. So you're taking something familiar and you're kind of stripping it down, and you want to, the whole point is to relax your listener. You want to relax them as much as you can, whatever you can possibly do to relax them, and making sure you have a stable rhythmic foundation is one of the keys to that. You've nailed a lot of the layers. So you've nailed the that like rich melodic feeling. Harp is very relaxing. The tone quality of the harp is just very relaxing. I love the rain noise. I love the crackling vinyl. I think they're really great. But I would kind of dig in here, and your next task is really to figure out these kind of rhythmic modulations that are happening, because the harp player is just not playing perfectly in time. So That is where the struggle is. It started to, like, I felt like what I did up to about measure 22 was pretty good. But after that, I started to lose a sense of it because I was diving in too deep. When you're working on something like this that is this detail oriented, I would say 20 minutes at a time max, because it's just impossible to keep. No, you don't need to. You don't need to send me the harp song. Or you could if you want me to just listen to the original. Um, I'm not sure. Anyway, back to what I was saying. 20 minutes at a time, because the amount of intense focus that you need to really dig into these rhythmic variances is just, it's very intense. It's very intense. And you'll notice that I was clicking on and off the snap to grid, because it's a live, it sounds like a live recording, or a recording without a metronome. And like I said, classical players, we don't really listen to the metronome very often, and that's something that, as I've moved out of the classical realm, I have had to deal with, because the rest of the musical world, at least in the Western musical world, is very keen on that metronome, and any sort of digital audio workspace like what we're doing has to be really, really precise with that metronome. And so something like lo-fi is, which only exists through a digital production, has to be really well lined up. And so that is your biggest task, is going through and really making sure that that we are relaxed by this beat. Because of my first listen, that was what made me, like, I could almost feel my shoulders crawling up. Because what you did was right. You took it and you made it perfectly even. And that it made a good beat. But then what happened was the recording is not perfectly on beat. So please keep working on this. Please keep working on this, because I love it. I love it. And I think if you just got to figure out the rhythmic variances, figure out those rhythmic variances, and adjust the part to make the rhythmic variances sound intentional. Just make them sound intentional. So I love it. Please keep working on it. Please keep working on it. It's so beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. Just to save or override. I'm going to override. Yeah. Love it. So Adam, unique doesn't always mean great. And especially when it comes to time, if you don't have a sense of time, you're going to turn off your listener. You will absolutely turn off your listener. Classical musicians play with something called rubato, where they're just more fluid with time. But it means that the smaller beats they don't care about so much, and so they'll destroy the tempo in smaller beats, only to hit bigger beats with a strong tempo. So like if you're playing a song in 4/4, all the ones are going to be in time, but like beats 2, 3, and 4 might be sped up, they might be slowed down. Or say you have a 12 beat phrase over 3 measures. The first beat of that is going to be in time with the first beat of the next phrase, but what's in between might speed up and slow down. And so that's what rubato is. It's taking liberty. It's doing what you're saying. However, again, in this style of music, playing without a metronome is to your extreme detriment because of the problem we just saw. And And in Omar's case, taking a sample, he doesn't have control over what that recording does, but it's his job as the producer to make everything sound intentional. So you're taking a classical musician's recording and putting it through the filter of a digital musician, because a digital musician's audience needs that consistency. If the consistency isn't there, it's going to make them feel uncomfortable. Like you will have a body reaction to being out of time, because you have a sense of time. We talk about your five senses. You got touch, smell, taste, seeing, hearing, right? Five senses. Well, guess what? You have a sense of time. It exists, but we don't talk about it. But and it's not perfect, but you have a sense of it. You have a sense of time passing. And in music, we just measure it. In science, we measure it. So it's more precise, but even without measuring it, you have a sense of it, but it's more conceptual than just like, okay, I'm feeling the table. It feels textured. I feel, my microphone, it's like, it's a great, I can feel stuff on it. And if you're not aware of how you're playing with those senses musically, that's where your failure is gonna be. So if we go back to your song, Adam, let's come back to this. Open this in the studio. Okay. I'm going to revert to a different. I'm going to revert to this one because you are what you did with the drum part here. Now this is your original version that I watched before I touched on it. Can someone vibe enough? I don't know, but I want to just listen to this before I messed with it, okay? Because what you did was really cool. So right there, that was cool. And really, I just want to listen to these two. This is all I really want to listen to. And actually, let's listen to that too. Right there. So you did that based on your ear, Adam. You did that based on your ear. I can tell. And I hear what you're going for. And it's really cool. Here's the problem though. Because it's not like quantized to your grid, we can't really use it forever. Or to do that is going to take an extreme amount of work. An extreme amount of work that we could make easier by understanding what we're going for in the first place, and just making sure that it's in time with that click. So because if I put the click on, let's turn the metronome on and just it's gonna feel totally weird. It's just not. It's not to any kind of beat. It's definitely not 120. I think you're hearing it more like. Which is about, I don't know what I put it at, but it's like So it's about 90. Okay. That's how you felt it that way though. But because you didn't have the click track behind it, now it's weird. Like, you had to go and make it weird, bro. You had to go and make it weird. But if you're aware of how you're feeling it, establishing that tempo it's crucial. It's not optional. It would make going forward with this so much easier. And you can, and in fact you must. I need you to keep going with this. And do your best to try and recreate this, because this right here, we would call this minimalism, which is really cool. What you're doing with the click track aside is you're starting with something off the beat that's even. It's off the beat, but then it slowly gets onto the beat, and that's intentional and cool. But we need to really have a good establishment of what that beat is. So if I turn the metronome off and like we just listen. Now we're on. Right? So it's off and then it gets on. Like, what's happening? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so the way that happens is neat. Because I feel uncomfortable. But I don't like continuing songs. I like making something new. Well, I did a lot of the work for you in the previous version. Just figure out that drum part. This is your lesson. Because you made huge leaps. You saw some other things that are possible, and you made some huge leaps in what you could do, coming to something like this. Figure out how you can make this drum part into the reality that you wanted it to be. You don't have to go on, but take what you have and figure out that drum beat, and then go on, and then go on to something new. Because figuring out how to do that feel. That you're already feeling it, but you have to establish it with the click track, because otherwise you can't break expectations if you're not setting expectations. Does that make sense? So if you come in and you're like, I'm going to break all the rules and break these expectations, you have to make sure that those expectations are set, because if they're not, then I don't know what expectations you're trying to break. If I'm your audience, there are certain things that I expect. I expect it to be in time. And if you don't set out for it to be in time in the first place, or if you set out with the goal of breaking the rule without establishing the rule in the first place, then you're not showing me that you're breaking the expectation. It just sounds amateurish, if that makes sense. And please don't take that with anything other than, a learning mindset, because I really do think this is fantastic. But I'm your teacher. I love everything you do regardless. I'm super impressed all the time. But you're at the level now where like I'm ready to throw you to the dogs, and like there's some awesome stuff happening here. And a raw audience is going to have these kind of criticisms. So I think this is amazing. That's what I would like for you to do, is go through, get this quantized. I'm not going to save this because I opened a previous version specifically to not mess with. I want you to try it. All right. Jesus. Are you still here? I hope you're still here, man. I wanted to look at this again. All right. I feel more nostalgic or something. Okay, so I know that you muted this. I don't necessarily agree with it. Don't necessarily agree with that. But let's listen to it again. this nice and loud to the end.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country.
Now I need this to land back on the beat.
Can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not not what your country, fire, can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Okay, so what I did was I just came in here and I added there actually.
What your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your. What your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that. And then, so what I did here was I went back to the beginning and I copied the that original recording that's in time because I really wanted to keep hearing the rain and I really wanted to keep hearing the chord progression, but I didn't want the intensity of just the regular the Rhodes organ over the top of it. So I do maybe like I might add another beat of time to that.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
And I don't know, you could do something weird like a record scratch. Like let's hear this. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna let's see here. All right, let's see. Okay. Now what I did is I just and I know I'm like messing with your creativity here, but I want like something's got to really end this.
And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
There we go. So that just like, okay, it's over, you know? Actually, I'm gonna... So anyway, like that's just a little like taste thing. So what I did is I found a record scratch sound effect from YouTube, and then I downloaded it and just you can just take the file from your computer and drag it onto the track. And so that's what I did. You can take that or leave that. I think that's awesome. Now, lower, yeah. I wasn't quite getting the levels right. What is this? Is this something? Oh, get rid of this. Get rid of that nonsense. Now, it's just, I gotta tell you, I love these two parts. I really love them because they're like your hook. They're really, really cool. And so if we like go through and we just pull all of this back slightly, because that's really what I want. And then I want to, you know, because this... You know, I like that. That's what I'm really digging on. You know, and then we'll bring this over because I want it... like take this and like put it in again, you know, just to like, because that's, so we call that a hook. It's the thing that draws you into the song in the beginning. We don't want to start too texturally thick, because then we just we don't have the context that we really want. You know what? And I might even like, well, I'm still listening.
I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation.
Like, and I want to hear that again. You know what I mean?
I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy,
You know?
the
Bum, 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 bum. That's a hook. Like, that's what's...
to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And
You know?
the glow from that fire
Like, that...
can truly light
I don't
the
know.
world.
That is... I know you didn't really care for it, but
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I don't know. You can even like... You know, something like that. But I really do, Jesus. Like, I just think I just played with it, man. Like, you are giving me a landscape to play with stuff, and it's so much fun. This is so much fun for me, and I wish, and I hope, and I wish that maybe next year we can have this as a class and we can do this with some of the younger guys. I'm so grateful that I get to at least talk to you about it. Like there's so many of you who I'm just seeing this raw talent in, that I haven't been able to explore because, you know, we get mariachi, we get guitar class, and then that's pretty much it. You know, you guys have your own lives. But the fact that we get to play with stuff like this, you know, it's such a blessing. I know there's so much stress in the world right now, but this just feels like such a blessing that I can just see your raw talent. Jesus, Adam, you too, Omar, like the three of you just have surprised me again and again and again, and in such a like beautiful way. I appreciate you so much, Araceli. It's been so fun hanging out with you. We get to hang out every weekday. I'm still waiting for you to drop me some fat beats. Today was fun. Kind of a laid back, like we didn't do a lot in chat, but we just kind of talked and went over some stuff. I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you guys so much. Let me know what you're thinking for tomorrow. You know, what's tomorrow, Wednesday? Probably do more of this. I haven't added assignments for this week, which I need to figure out. Like Jesus, this is great. I'm gonna give you credit. You've got a melody, you've got a harm, you've got all kinds of stuff. Same thing with Adam. Omar, you too. You're good for this week, but I just have to figure out what the people who aren't like really active in stream are gonna do. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun today. Let's do the same thing tomorrow. And I'll see you guys. We're going to go out on this one. So later, guys. Subscribe. Hit me in the comments with questions. Let's do like some question of the day stuff. That would be rad. And yeah, maybe we'll figure out gaming stream or something. That would be fun. That would be super fun. So, Caesar, you got Twitch? Yeah, I am on Twitch. I haven't messed with. I haven't streamed on Twitch like forever. So, anyway, guys, later.